I am Maggie Carsello, and I am a BassmastHER ambassador. You know, I have gone fishing with my mom and dad my whole life, truly, but usually, you know, with a bobber for panfish or whatnot. But what really made me fall in love with bass fishing was when we'd be out and when you would catch a bass on the bobber and a worm, I would just get so excited every time I would catch a largemouth bass. And then I went to college at UW-Stevens Point, which is, you know, a smaller school, and there's not a ton to do around there besides, you know, hunt, fish. And I made some really good buddies who really taught me a lot about targeting bass specifically, and I just fell in love with it. I would go between class. I had my favorite little spot that I would go and just really kind of learned how to catch them independently. And they actually talked me into joining the bass team there at school, so I did that, and I got introduced to tournament fishing, and I've loved sports my whole life, so kind of being able to combine those two things, the competitive aspect and, you know, being outdoors and catching fish, I was hooked. I fell in love with it. Yeah, I feel like the thing about bass fishing that drives me is, you know, as silly as it sounds, you can go out and catch nothing and have a fun day. You know, you're outside, I just love being outdoors, being on the water. It's something I've always loved. But what really keeps me coming back for more is you learn something new every single day with bass fishing, right? But you never have it figured out. Like, you never have all the answers. You're gonna learn something every single time you go out. There's gonna be a new challenge. You can practice all week for a tournament. Weather changes, you know, the lake gets stirred up. Like, you always have to adapt and learn, and it's just a challenge. I usually feel like I'm not competing against other people. You're competing against the fish, and it's a challenge, and I love it. Fishing the Opens this year as a co-angler was seriously one of my favorite chapters of my life journey so far. It was so rewarding. I learned so much. You're fishing the same water as some of the best fishermen out there right now, but you're also fishing against, you know, plenty of other people who are saying, this is my first Open as well, who are out there learning. There's, you know, younger people, older people. There's just so many different kind of people, but that are all just eaten up with bass fishing and all come together. And the support that I experienced too, you know, whether it was from followers or people, you know, I'd see at ramps or other competitors, it was something like I've never experienced with all of the other tournaments I've fished, which I love, but I'm so hungry for more of, you know, the Bassmaster Opens now. I can't see not competing at that level anymore. I can't explain, you know, getting up on that stage and just, you know, staying to watch the final weigh-in and learning, you know, what they were doing to be successful. And I can't explain it. It was the best experience of my life. You know, I have to be honest with you when I say, starting on this whole BassmastHER journey, being an ambassador, I didn't know what to expect out of it. But after just 1 year of doing this, the impact that I've seen it make has blown my mind. I could give you tons of examples, but one that really sticks out in my mind is I had a gal message me on Instagram and say that, you know, seeing Christine, Anastasia, and I doing all of this, she was like, I gotta fish an Open. Leech Lake was somewhat local to her. Her husband paid her entry fees as I think it was like maybe a birthday gift. He wasn't even fishing it. He just said, I know you wanna do this. We kind of encouraged her to do so. I wound up running into her at a tackle shop there. We talked. That might sound small to people, but I can't tell you, I got choked up. It was just an incredible experience to see, like, we are making a difference, whether it's in one person's life or, you know, I don't know how many women's lives. It's been incredible, and the support from companies, you know, in the industry, and even the anglers. Like, we're really doing something here, and, you know, I hate to say I didn't think we were going to. That's not what I'm trying to say, but it has exceeded my expectations. You know, my goals with BassmastHER, I hope it sticks around forever, but at the same time, my real goal for it is for people to not think twice, really, when a female walks across the stage or, you know, is at takeoff. That's really my goal for it. I just want to make it seem just normal, like a normal occurrence. I want there to be more women doing it. I want them to feel welcome and encouraged to compete at higher levels. I'd say my biggest piece of advice for younger girls that want to get into competitive bass fishing is to, one, maybe be prepared. You know, it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows, but to not let that get to you and just know that you're doing it for yourself. If it's something you want to do, to follow that passion, and to not be afraid to use your resources. You know, when I was in school, I was fortunate. I know not everyone's as fortunate as I was to have supportive friends who were that encouraging, but surround yourself with those people, reach out to them. That's a great way to learn, but I also would want to tell them to not depend too much on that, to learn how to be independent and learn how to go out, find your own fish, whether it's learning how to run a kayak or a boat. You know, learn that independence, but don't be afraid to use your resources as well.